title is Sports Officer, and I'm part of the Sports Department team here on the Bishopstown campus. A small team, but I'd like to think we pack a big punch. So part of my role is that I oversee a number of sports clubs, including the AFL, badminton, canoe, darts, equestrian, the martial arts, the karate, the kickboxing, taekwondo, racquetball, sailing, tennis, volleyball, and powerlifting. So a broad spectrum of sports. I really enjoy working with those students, particularly the committees of those clubs, on a day-to-day basis, helping them and guiding them on their day-to-day running of the clubs. I myself had a most enjoyable 4 years in the DIN Cork RTC, and I loved playing sport while I was there, particularly camogie, soccer and football. And I'd love now for the students to have the same positive experience while they're with us. Then with my colleagues in the sports department, I oversee the booking of a number of our sports facilities here on campus, our athletics track, our AstroTurfs, our sports hall. And, we all know that facilities are nothing without the participants. So we're fortunate to have a brilliant stream of participants here from our staff, our students, our alumni, our external bodies, local clubs, county boards, sports partnerships. They all use the facilities here, and the facilities go day and night. Even Christmas Day, we host the Goal Mile. And, take, for example, the athletics track, where hundreds of kids, primary school kids from all over the county come in and take part in our Cork primary school sports. And on that same track, then we have our top class national and international athletes taking part in the Cork City sports. The buzz and the electricity around that night is just brilliant, and to see the facilities in full flight. And we host numerous events across all our sports, from our indoor sports, our outdoor sports, our water sports. So the place really is a hive of activity day and night. And as well as that, then I'm part of our Sports Scholarship Board, where we award scholarships to our elite athletes here in the college. And I'm also a member of our Sports Awards Board, where we recognise the hard work, some administrative, some while playing for the college. But I suppose, I'm involved in a number of initiatives, but one I really enjoyed in recent times was our 20 by 20 campaign. In October 2019, the DIN CIT joined up to become part of the national 20 by 20 campaign. And just to remind people, the national 20 by 20 campaign was about, its aim was to increase attendance, participation and media coverage for both women and girls in sport by 20% by 2020. So we signed up, and then my colleague Norma Buckley and I spearheaded a number of campaigns and initiatives as part of that. So, things like Volleyball Diva to social soccer, to social boxing, to learn to lift, to Zumba classes, to Irish dancing classes, to self-defense classes. A range of fun initiatives were ran. And key to our campaign in MTU was identifying 20 to 25 MTU 20 by 20 student ambassadors. Each of these students, terrific ambassadors for their sport, for MTU, for their families, for their home clubs. And we were delighted to have them on board. And we did a profile of each of them. And as part of that, we highlighted their achievements, both within MTU and also on our social media. And they proved very, very popular. As well as that, as part of the campaign, we erected special 20 by 20 jersey signs in all our sports facilities. And I'm delighted to say that those signs will be displayed for a long time to come. We also pledged to have a female guest speaker for our sports scholarship presentation evening. And we were absolutely delighted and honoured to have the legendary Rena Buckley come speak to our students. Rena, a fantastic role model, but also, a brilliant person and one of the soundest people you could meet on or off the pitch. Delighted with our 20 by 20 campaign, and I've no doubt that the momentum and the conversation around female sports will continue and flourish into the future. So that kind of gives you a snapshot of my daily role. Women have this remarkable and unique and unselfish ability to raise people up. And it's nice just for even one day to turn the tables and to recognise them. To many families and organisations, women are the rock, they are the key foundation stone. At a broader level, I suppose, it's an opportunity for us all to check in and to ensure that we have a fair and inclusive society. So just imagine, just for one day on International Women's Day, if every single person just thanked 3 women that they know. Look at the fantastic ripple effect that would have. Our society needs a bit of uplifting, and look at the lift that would give to each of those women. It would be fantastic. I'm a firm believer that, where there's a woman, there's a way. So I'm going to take this opportunity right here to express and applaud 3 fantastic women in MTU. I'm going to start with our president, Professor Maggie Cusack, for her excellent leadership. Secondly, my colleague in the sports department, Norma Buckley, who is an absolute diamond and a pleasure to work with, and for whom no job is too big or too small. And thirdly, one of our gym instructors here in MTU, Natalie O'Brien, whose boot camps can sometimes be brutal, but are always enjoyable and brilliant. So they're my three ladies that I'd like to highlight. I suppose for a long time, I'm very fortunate to have played a number of sports, from camogie to soccer to ladies football, pitch and putt, badminton. So I suppose a lot of people will expect my answers to be as sports heroes. I might be surprised by my answers, in fact, but I will start with my sporting heroes, and for a long number of years, I would ate, slept and drank camogie, and my huge inspiration would be the Cork Senior Camogie team and panel of 1995. It would be impossible to single out one player in that panel, and because together we had a very unique and a brilliant bond. And even to this day, I'd like to think we have each other's backs. They are special people, unique characters, and despite winning a lot, very modest. It was my first year joining the Cork Senior panel, so I learned an awful lot from them. Some good, which I'll expand on, and some not so good, which I won't expand on, other to say that I was a teenager when I joined the panel. But I didn't learn from them shouting or instructions. I learned from their actions and by the standard they set with those actions. They had a mindset of winning, and they had a great belief. I learned an awful lot from them in terms of training and match preparation, in terms of the commitment required to be an inter-county senior player, in terms of the pride in the Cork jersey. We worked hard, we trained hard, but we had great crack along the way, and our team holidays after we won All Ireland were absolutely epic and some of the best memories ever. And then I suppose somebody who has inspired me all my life would be my mother, Kathleen. Before I could walk or talk or speak, she was my eyes and ears, and she literally raised me up when I couldn't reach myself. And even to this day, she'd have my back very much. Nobody from my home club had ever played for Cork Seniors. A lot of people believed playing for Cork was an impossible dream, but my mum believed in me, and she encouraged me to follow my dream, and she made huge sacrifices to allow me get to trainings and to play with Cork. And just an example of that, when I started off, there was no female sports in my parish, so my parents allowed me to play with the boys team. So I actually have a West Cork football medal before I even started playing camogie. The camogie club was set up then when I was 12, and I was playing with our adult team when I was 13. But these were in the days before WhatsApp, so after training we used to sit down and decide who was around for the next match. And on one Sunday morning, I recall the coach asking who was around for the upcoming match, and I just said, look, I'm really sorry, I wouldn't be around. And that was a very unexpected answer, because I was ever present for training and matches. And one of the adult players turned to me and she said, and why not? So I just answered and I said, because I've got a call up to play for Cork. And she turned back to me and she told me to stop dreaming. So, that was a long time ago, but that remark hit home. And I think that highlights, the foresight of my mum to encourage me to play and to believe in me to go play. And even to this day, she inspires us and she encourages us to do the best we can. And, she taught us the value of family and hard work. And she's very much the rock in our family. And, like good buttons, I don't know how, but she managed to hold everything together. And then finally, my last inspiration, and very much my inspiration in the past 2 years, would be my late aunt, Rita. She got a heartbreaking cancer diagnosis in October 2018 and was given just a few short months to live. But she showed an inner strength and a steely determination that I admired so much. And she passed away after a titanic battle with cancer, remarkably 2 years later, last October. But she had a terrific sense of humour. Myself and her always had great banter. And right at the very end, I don't know how, but a couple of days before she passed, we had great banter. I won't go into the story, only to say it was about her missing false teeth. And, if I'm having a bad day, it's Rita who inspires me, and I take great inspiration from the strength that she showed right till the very, very end. As I mentioned already, I was the first person in our club to play for Cork Seniors. So I'd like to think that I knocked down barriers for those players coming behind, and that now there's a pathway for the younger players to go on and see that, if I can play for Cork, there's no reason why they can't play for Cork too. So that's one hurdle that I think was a big challenge when I started, coming from a small club. And then when I came into Cork RTC, there was no camogie club. I absolutely had a ball playing soccer and football in my first year. So I decided in my second year that I wanted to have a camogie club. So I went about setting up a club. And I'm delighted to see that the camogie club is now flourishing and continues to grow. So the hard work in setting up a club was worth it. Obviously, like everybody else, COVID has been a challenge, and the detrimental effects of this pandemic will be felt for many years to come. And we've all gotten used to Zoom and virtual events, but nothing replaces the real thing. And I, for one, cannot wait to, in reality, high-five somebody after a boot camp class. And I think when we do get the green light that, through Zoom, that there's going to be a high level of enthusiasm, there's going to be an appreciation of activity, and I think that activity levels will rocket. I look forward very much to that day, I must say. During COVID, key for me has been movement. I just think we all have to keep moving, even if it's only inch by inch. We've got to keep moving forward until we get the green light to rock on again. And I suppose finally, a big challenge for me that a lot of people won't be aware of is that I'm currently on a journey to recover from a very serious concussion injury sustained as a result of the camogie challenge. I would be a relatively private person, but I just feel the need to create awareness around concussion. My incident happened in July 2019, and it turned my whole world, mind, body and soul upside down, and really has been a living nightmare. So I just want to raise awareness around the issue of concussion. I very much welcome the recent media coverage around it, and that some governing bodies are giving it more coverage. So, never take a chance as regards in such a serious injury, and make sure to get it checked. So those kind of have been my challenges along.